Hello everybody, Sparkster1701 here. Earlier this month, to kick our year off, we had taken a look at a Collector's Club toy. So here to end the month, we have another one. Thanks once again to my friend MJ, who after seeing the video for Overrun earlier this month, was able to send me this one. This is Runamuck. This version of Runamuck was released in 2012, along with Overrun, who we reviewed earlier in the month. The big difference being was that Runamuck here was the free figure that was given to all members of the Transformer Collector Club that year, whereas his partner in crime, Overrun, was the figure available for purchase. And of course, like we had compared in earlier times, Runamuck here does have a Generation 1 counterpart. For the benefit of those who are new to the channel or new to this character, Runamuck in the Generation 1 timeline was released in 1986. He was a battle charger, which meant that he would automatically transform from his car mode after being dragged across the floor in reverse. You would let him roll across a smooth solid surface like a hardwood floor, and after a few feet he would pop up into his robot mode, and since he was still on his wheels when he would do that, he would continue to roll for a few feet before coming to a stop, or colliding with the wall. While it was a cute gimmick and certainly an improvement over the jump starters that Hasbro had released the year prior, poor Runamuck here has no articulation, so he's pretty much stuck in a statue pose, with his gun mounted to his shoulder instead. Now, of course, this Collector's Club Runamuck, like the Overrun figure that we reviewed earlier in the month, is a redo of a special figure of Wheeljack, which, of course, is also a redo for itself of TurboTrax, or Trax to those of us from the Generation 1 continuity. At any rate, as you can see with the colors, they did kind of go with a similar color scheme to the original toy, although they did go with more white on this Collector's Club figure, whereas the G1 version is more of a light gray color. The orange on it is a nice contrast and certainly something different. And of course, the markings of gold, like on the wings, is intended to invoke the gold stickers that line the sides of the car mode of the G1 toy. And it at least includes a few other homages to the original toy, like we do have a blackened out symbol on the chest that's meant to resemble the heat-sensitive label on the Generation 1 toy. And of course we have a nice big Decepticon symbol on the hood of the car, which doubles as the robot's legs. So all in all, a rather nice touch for this toy. Let's take a look at the Collector's Club Runamuck's articulation. His head can be turned from side to side relatively easily, and it can also look up and down as it's on a small ball joint. We can raise his arm up about so far, and while his arms do rotate at the shoulder, his wings get in the way of full articulation. You'd have to separate most of it to get the arms to go further. His arm can be bent at the elbow 90 degrees but it also has it at both upper and lower ends, so you've got a double jointed elbow. There he also has a swivel at the bicep, so he has G.I. Joe style battle grip. Kind of a nice thing for a Transformer to have. He does have articulation at his hips, so you can twist him at the hips. You can spread his legs apart into a full splits. And he can raise his leg up about 90 degrees. The windshield does get in the way of that a bit. And you can bend his leg at the knee 90 degrees. So, Runamuck here does have quite a bit of articulation. Before we get into his loose parts, I would like to take a look real quick at his file card here. Of course, this came with the this would have been sent with the toy along with the instructions. It's printed on a plain piece of cardboard, so unfortunately nothing special to look at there on the back. It gives his name as Runamuck and lists him as a Decepticon car. In the Generation 1 era, Runamuck was a shock trooper. And shock troopers at that time were a specialized trooper that was known to be able to breach defensive barricades. Something that worked out well with the play feature on the original toy. This figure is the 100th figure put out by Fun Publications, who at the time were the backers of the Transformer Collector Club. And then right here it has his tech spec data. It gives his strength as 7, his intelligence is 5, his speed is 8, his endurance is 7, his rank is 6, his courage and fire blast are 7s, and his skill is 8. So, aside from being of average intelligence, Runamuck here is somewhat good at what he does. And then down here it has a little quote for him, saying, "The road is my playpen, cars are my toys." Of course, this was the motto on the original toy. As part of a warped game, Runamuck cruises highways at top speed and rejoices in the chaos he creates. The other vehicles and Cybertronians on the road are merely obstacles between which Runamuck darts, hoping to see them slam on the brakes and twirl out of control. His maniacal laughter can be heard as he races away from the smoking wrecks. Some might believe he plays these games to spread fear. In reality, it's just so that he can watch the resulting collisions and explosions as they fill the streets with such beautiful disaster. It fascinates him. However, such appreciation is short-lived as his partner, Overrun, sets it upon himself to enhance its beauty, which usually means even more awesome explosions and mayhem. Talk about a couple of crazies. At any rate, let's take a look now at Runamuck's accessories. We'll start here with his gun. It's exactly the same shape as the one that came with Overrun, except this one is done in black with a gold-tipped barrel. Of course, as you can see, the black gun was somewhat of an homage to the original toy, as he had a predominantly black gun. And of course, like the one for Overrun, the barrel does fold in on itself, as the gun can be stored in the car mode, and we will show that in a little bit. And then, of course, as other accessories, this version of Runamuck also has 2 of these little tiny black guns. They're both identical to each other, and they're connected by this orange clip, which is movable to allow you to aim the guns. And again, those can be stored in his car mode, which we are about to show you. As you would figure, the first step in order to transform him is that we do have to remove all of his accessories so that they do not get in our way. And the first thing we have to do is we have to fold down the robot feet, which also means to manipulate bits in the back and kind of bring them in to merge onto his legs, forming the front end of the car. While we're doing that, we also detach the rear of the car from this area behind his head. Then on the next step, we're going to connect his legs together to fully form the front end of the car. We'll straighten his arms out to keep him out of our way. We want to bring the wings down to be horizontal, just like that. And then you're going to fold in the tips of the wings. Just exactly like that. And then once you've done that, you will shift the wings downward, like so. And then we're also going to fold the legs so they move up and into the body. Shift the windscreen up a little bit. And now we also got to shift the robot's head down into the chest. And then that'll allow us to connect the windscreen to the legs. And then we come up here to these rear tires. You're going to move them out to the sides, because we're going to raise the arms up and rotate them so that the wheels wind up on the bottom. And you get his arms pointing just exactly like that. And now, you can adjust the wings out from the side. Looks like our symbol here in the middle is heat sensitive. It's probably not coming through on the camera very well, unfortunately. Anyway, you bring the wings up and we will finagle them into the legs to help form the doors to the car. There we go. And snap them in place. Then we'll reach back here to the back wheels and we'll fold them out to the side so they are now visible. And then now, at this point, is when you would take his gun and you will well, first thing you should do is fold down this orange bit of plastic so it's not in the way. And then you can insert the gun into this little hole here. Now they say they want you to rotate the arms at the bicep so the elbow is up, so that you can bring the arms upward and fold them in. And then we bring back the car body so it hangs underneath, and then fold over. Yep, here we go again, folks. We're doing having the same bit of difficulty that we had with his buddy. All we got to do is get the arms to go down flat enough that the posts on the back of the car can slide over them and into the holes that they're supposed to go into. This is always the fun part. Trying to adjust it so it works out just right. Yep, we're all the way back at our folds, so can't fold her any further. Give me a second here. Of course, as I should have stated earlier, for this it's easier on the transforming. If while you've got him here, when you bring the rear up, fold the arms up and have them connect and fit snugly into the rear of the car, then you should be able to fold it over and it snap right into place with no effort. Then, of course, to finish him off, you'll want to turn him over and attach the guns to these little circular knobs that are down here at the bottom of the car. Then you can fold the guns underneath. And then you've got all the weapons stored. And then here he is in his car mode. Now, while it's meant to be an unidentified type of car so that Hasbro avoids paying any licensing fees, there are some that state that the car does resemble a heavily modified Chevy Camaro, what Bumblebee would eventually become more famous as, thanks to the modern movies. But of course, in the Generation 1 era, Runamuck was a Pontiac Trans Am. Car that was made famous in movies like Smokey and the Bandit and the TV series Knight Rider. Remember the 80s, folks? Well, if you're a G1 fanatic, unfortunately, yes, you do remember them. Now, of course, how well does Runamuck here roll on his wheels? Well, rolls very good here. Obviously did a better job transforming him than it did Overrun the other time, because this one rolls very, very good on this table. The only real gripe I have with the plastic here is that there was obviously, they used more of a clear plastic to make the entire roof and windshield assembly. So I don't know how well this is coming off on the camera, but the rest of the body, there's kind of an orangish tint to the white around him, but on the roof it is pure white, so that is a little bit of a distraction to the vehicle's overall appearance, but you notice it more when you're looking at him from the top. When you're looking at him from the side, it's not really as noticeable, so I think they probably could have went with something different, or probably went more with the gray like the original toy was. And of course, if any of you are wondering, yes, it does have the flight mode, like Overrun does. So after all, he is based on a Trax toy. So first of all, to put him in flight mode, we got to remove the guns. We pop the back section up. Just pop it up. We don't need to go too far, so keep the arms attached. And then we got to wiggle the doors free. Of course, it's easier to kind of shift the body a little bit, pop the doors free, like that. And then you would basically fold them out to the sides. Bring out the wings. And then you can close the rear of the car back up. And then reattach the guns to the posts that they were attached to originally. And then there you have it. He's now a flying car. So now he can go out and cause more mayhem. Well, they also say that the wheels should remain up. That's better. It does swoosh kinda okay, but in reality, it just looks silly, folks, to be honest with you. Now, of course, if you're also fortunate enough to also have Overrun here with his box, you do have some easy storage for this toy, especially if you don't have a place to keep the toy out. Of course, all we got to do is remove the lid, and for starters, we're going to take out the foam that's inside. It's the lower portion here of the box. Good place to store the instructions and the collector cards. Keep them flat. But then after you replace the foam, as you can see, we have this lower portion occupied by Overrun. The upper portion does feature a foam cutaway in the shape of a car. And that is done up specifically so that you do have room to slide in Runamuck. Perfect. Perfect fit. Now, I don't know if any of the other Collectors Club toys allowed you to do this to them. If any of you out there does have some that also had this feature, please leave a shout out for it in the comments down below. I may track some more of these down to review them if that's possible. Now we get to my thoughts. What do I think of this version of Runamuck? It's a nice toy, I will give it that, and it is a great homage to the original. The transformation method, like I had stated with Overrun, it is a bit of a pain in the butt to get it right. But once you've kind of figured it out, it shouldn't be too much trouble. You just got to remember to secure the arms to the back piece before folding it over, and you shouldn't have any troubles. The fact that this toy was an exclusive to the Collectors Club is going to make it somewhat on the rare side, but he will be more available than Overrun down here, since this one was the freebie. Everybody that was a member got Runamuck. Those that wanted Overrun had to pay for him. So, you might be able to find one, or maybe if you're lucky, you might be able to find both of them being sold together in the same box. Just make sure you question that when you're looking at him to buy it on the secondhand market. But all in all, it is a great toy. I do like it, but I think the Earthrise one is probably a little bit better and will be more commercially available to many of the fans. At any rate, that's my review of the Collectors Club version of Runamuck. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you liked the video, please leave me a thumbs up here on YouTube. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button so you can join our ranks. And make sure you ring the bell so you'll get notified when I post new content. I ask that you help share this video with your friends and fellow collectors. That's what helps this channel grow. And share your thoughts about Runamuck in the comments down below. Now, big news for you fans. Next month, this channel turns 5 years old. So, to celebrate the 5th anniversary of this studio, we're going to spend next month taking a look at some of the studio series of Transformer toys, including at least one brand new one that's put out to commemorate the 35th anniversary of the 1986 animated feature. What a year for 5s in 21. My channel turns 5. The original Transformer movie turns 35. Where does the time go? At any rate, please look forward to that. This is Sparks1701 saying I'll catch you all later.